Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hey guys, hope everyone's doing good. Don't know if you can hear me. I'm just loading up my monitors. If they're going to work. Let's see what happens if I click this. Boom. Monitor's working. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me, guys. And what I will also do is let's pop this into my chat room if I can, or have I already logged? I've already logged out. I'm not gonna log back in. It will just lag the stream out. Let me know how you're doing, everybody. Cool. So, obviously we don't have much time. UFC on ESPN plus 14 starts in about an hour. Really sorry I'm late doing another live stream. Fight days are just chaos for me. There's always just so much to do. You can be like really prepared, you can plan everything out, but on fight day, just loads of like unforeseen odd jobs pop up that eat into my day. So yeah, thought I'd get onto the live stream about an hour earlier than I have, but better late than never. So rather than, spending loads of time talking about, prop bets, spending loads of time talking about the fights that I haven't covered, I thought, instead of doing that, I will just leave the prop bets up here in the background for you to see. And I'll just answer your questions or get through as many questions as I can in the next hour. And we'll just do a casual live stream that way. Also, I'll do the live stream for about the next 50 minutes. I have to get off about 10 minutes before the event starts just so I can set up my live betting setup, because I'll be live betting off like 4 different devices tonight. It's absolute chaos setting up 4 different laptops, loads of different betting accounts, that kind of thing. Bit annoying. That's the way it is. Obviously, if you watched my video yesterday on being shut down by betting sites, you know exactly why we need to go to those lengths. So I will. Hey, this is quite good though. I've got the YouTube monitor working. Happy days. So I will just let some questions flow in, boys, and I'll start getting through these questions. Also, if anyone can post a link for the stream in my chat room. I can't do it because I was really dumb and I logged out just before I started, and if I log in now it'll lag the stream out. Someone could do that, that's class. Let's get to the questions. Oh, Lee Dosis, thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate the super chat, dude. You don't have to do that, man. Lee Dosis is one of my elite members. He gives me enough money every month. Definitely doesn't need to be doing super chats, but thanks a lot, mate. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you made some money on the football bets as well. You know what? While the questions roll in, let's talk a little bit about the football bets. This is shaping up to be, I don't know how I'm going to do tonight, but this is shaping up to be a potential red panty weekend for me, because I made a lot of money on the football this weekend. Now, I know that the 4 bets that I covered in that Premier League betting video, 2 of them won and 2 of them lost. But I was a lot bigger on the 2 that won than I was on the 2 that lost. And I don't want to be that guy that is like, I made loads of money betting on the shit that I didn't tell you about. But obviously, I did say in that video, this whole challenge of beating football betting is a big deal for me. It's a personal challenge. It's for me. I want to do it. So obviously, I have had a couple of my own bets this weekend, which have materialized after I put that video out. Otherwise, I would have shared them with you. So I've done really good this weekend on football betting. 4 wins and 2 losses. And like I say, the 4 winners I hit, they were all for a lot more money than the 2 losses. So the 2 losses were Bournemouth to beat Sheffield United. Bit unlucky there. Obviously, Bournemouth, if you look at the stats, look like they dominated the game. Looking forward to watching that on Match of the Day later. Sheffield United popped up with a late goal, though, after Bournemouth were winning 1-0 for much of the game. And I don't know what the fuck happened to Watford. They got smashed 3-0 at home by quite a weak Brighton team. So that was probably one of the strangest results today. So I don't know what happened to Watford. Looking forward to seeing that on Match of the Day as well. But the winners were a big winner on a Spurs and Liverpool double parlay accumulator. I also doubled down on Spurs. I bet them on the double chance. Odds around 1.40. Posted in my chat room this afternoon, so I went quite big on the double chance. Also hit both teams to score in the Cardiff versus Luton game, which was obviously massive, and Cardiff won the game, which was a big bonus for me. Friday night, I bet over 3.5 goals in the game between Liverpool and Norwich. Obviously, that won by half time when Liverpool were 4-0 up, which was very, very, very nice. Yeah, I think that's all the bets. So yeah, 4-2. So hopefully, I can now not completely fuck up and give all the money back to the bookies tonight on UFC. Hopefully I can make a profit on UFC tonight as well. So very happy with how football betting's been going this weekend. And with those 2 additional bets that I placed myself, over 3.5 goals on the Liverpool game, double chance on the Spurs Villa game, I'm looking forward to actually getting back from Bali and Singapore in a few weeks' time, depositing some money into a betting exchange account, and actually doing this challenge for reals and showing you guys every week what account balance I've got, actually in cold hard cash, how much money I've been able to make or lose, because it's obviously not possible for me to share all my bets on YouTube, because it just takes too damn long to upload a video. And now after that little intro on football, let's get back to MMA, because we've got a good 50 minutes to get through some MMA talk, and there should be some questions now in the chat room. Oh damn, some more super chats. Kid X, another one. Man, my elite members, you guys are too kind. You guys give me enough money as it is. You do not need to be super chatting, boys. Kid X, another one of my elite members. God bless, mate. Thanks always for helping this community. Thanks a lot for the kind words, Kid X. Really appreciate it, mate. My elite members with the donations. You don't need to be doing that, boys. You do not need to be doing that. But thanks anyway. I appreciate it, man. So, let's go. Let's get through these questions. KRN Runner has asked, thoughts on punting on Liz Carmouche. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think she's a bad bet. It's just, it's a tough one, isn't it? Like, you guys know I'm not opposed to taking a gamble on risky bets. Like, I mean, we bet on fucking Frankie Edgar a few weeks back, who was at a massive disadvantage to Max Holloway. But it's tough, because I felt like with Frankie Edgar, there was a legit chance, like he had a legit path to victory. He could have outperformed Max Holloway over the entire 25-minute period if Max Holloway's takedown defense wasn't as good as it, unfortunately for us, turned out to be, right? So that was the logic behind taking a gamble on a guy like Frankie Edgar at big underdog odds. Problem I have with betting on Carmouche is, even though she's very tempting, and I do think she can cause Shevchenko big problems on the ground, because Shevchenko puts herself in a lot of bad positions, especially for when she goes for those high-risk, low-reward head and arm throws. Carmouche is a very strong grappler. She could take her back and choke her out in that position, no doubt about it. And my problem with the difference between taking a gamble on Carmouche and the difference between taking a gamble on Edgar is that we knew Edgar had the cardio to perform close to his full potential for 25 minutes, whereas Carmouche's cardio is really bad. Her cardio tends to fall off a cliff, by the end of the second round. So I feel like if Carmouche isn't able to submit Valentina within the first or second round, from there on, it's just going to be one-way traffic, because Carmouche is going to be too tired to compete with Shevchenko, and that's why I don't like a gamble on Carmouche as much as some of the other gambles I've taken on big underdogs over the last few months. But I won't criticize anyone for betting Carmouche. I won't criticize betting anyone for betting Carmouche. I would just probably say that it's taking on more risk than I would like. That's all I would say, but I don't think she's a bad bet. Reece Tomlinson, up the Cardiff. Nice one, mate. Fabio Marquez, thanks for the Cardiff tip. No worries, mate. But I do pretty good betting Cardiff games, because I watch all their games. I do pretty good. don't know who they've got next week, though. And if I try and search, it'll lag the stream out. Let me know who Cardiff have got next week, boys. I might be able to get an early bet on that one as well. Let's see. Ben Dover has asked about the Ian Heinisch and Derek Brunson fight. Yeah, I do think Brunson might be a good bet next week, guys. I did say that one of the reasons why I kept this so tight on this card is because I think there are some potentially amazing bets coming up next week, and Derek Brunson's one of them. Derek Brunson is one of them. We've got to remember, Derek Brunson, former NCAA Division III wrestler, and Ian Heinisch has shown in both of his fights so far in the UFC that he's got really, really bad takedown defense, and he's quite weak off his back. He's been able to create a lot of scrambles off his back against the opponents he's faced, but the opponents that he's faced haven't been NCAA Division III level wrestlers with cardio for 3 rounds like Brunson's got. So yeah, Brunson's never going to be a safe bet. Obviously, I talk about this a lot, but you're never going to be able to feel confident betting in a guy like Brunson. But his current odds are around 2.55 plus 155. That's an implied probability of 39%. I mean, at worst, I don't know, I might change my mind after research, but I do know for a fact Heinisch has got terrible takedown defense and a low-level ground game. So, betting on an NCAA Division III level wrestler against a guy like that, at an implied probability of 40%. Sounds tasty. Obviously, I can't make my mind up for sure until I research it. But yeah, Brunson's definitely one of the first names jumping out at me. Gareth McWatters has asked, what do you think of a Barzola Moffat over 2.5 round parlay? Let's have a look. Where are we? I've lost my place. YouTube comments are chaos. YouTube are dirty though, boys, right? I will say this. These super chats that have been coming through. So YouTube give you this platform, which is like a live stream manager. So I've got a dual monitor setup. So I've got my desktop here, which is what you're seeing, and I've got my live stream monitor on this. I'm not going to move it because I'll fuck it up. But I got my other monitor by here, right? And YouTube take 50% of the money you get from super chats, right? So if you watch a live stream and you give someone like $10 through a super chat, YouTube keep 5, which is fucking disgusting. But what's really, really dirty about YouTube is that on the monitor software they give you to like keep up to date with how the stream's looking, keep an eye on the chat, they make it really difficult for you to keep up to date with the chats that are coming through, like the messages that are coming through on chat, but they properly like put the fucking super chats in big flashing fucking lights. So it's almost like they purposely give you a shitty platform to use to do Q&As with, so that people kind of feel compelled to give super chats to get their questions answered. So that's why I keep going quiet and staring over here. It's because trying to keep track of the comments on this YouTube platform is really hard. Maybe they do it on purpose because they get such a giant cut of the super chat revenue, which is a bit dirty. But that's why there's like long, awkward pauses, because I'm trying to deal with this shitty piece of software. But anyway, Gareth McWatters, Barzola Moffat over 2.5 rounds. Let's take a look. What are the odds? No, man. No. Definitely not, mate. Definitely not. Because if you look at this, right, so the average odds available on that, call it 1.31. 76% implied probability. So you'd have to cap this fight going the distance at 81% to get any value. And That's just crazy. Like, flash KO could happen. We've never seen Enrique Barzola's submission defense. Moffat's very dangerous on the ground. He's a very, very opportunistic submission artist. Moffat also tends to slow down as the fight goes on. He doesn't have a lot of experience competing outside the United States, so maybe his cardio looks a lot worse fighting in Latin America. There's all kinds of reasons not to take that bet. So yeah, that's a definite pass. And then the other one was Luque versus Perry over 1.5 rounds. I already don't like this no matter what the odds are. No, mate, not at these odds. Not at these odds, because if we look at it, 1.56, implied probability is 64%. Like, in order to gain value on this over, you've got to give this fight a 70% chance of lasting longer than 7.5 minutes, which is really, really risky because we know both these guys come out the gate fast and aggressive. We know they like to sit down hard on their shots right in front of each other and exchange bombs. It's just, I'm not saying like the bets, I'm not saying this fight won't go over 1.5 rounds. I'm not saying Barzola versus Moffat won't go the distance, but if you put your money in marginal positions like that over the long term, you'll get wrecked, man. So definitely pass on that. What else have we got? So what would Vulcan Giggsy has asked, what would Vulcan have to get to for you to consider betting him? So I cap Vulcan at about 60%. So he would have to get to 1.83, 1.82, 1.81. Yeah, Vulcan would have to get to 1.81 for me to bet on him, which obviously isn't going to happen. I cap Vulcan at about 60% over Latifi tonight. And if his odds were 1.81, that would give us a 5% margin. But if we look at his current odds, currently around about 1.60, that's 63%. So there's absolutely no value there. The odds are spot on, in my opinion. In order to get any value on Vulcan here, you've got to cap him at around 68 to 69%, and I just don't think you can get there. I just think that's a bit of a stretch. 275 Motox has asked, do you like Burns Konchenko to go the distance at 1.72? Let's have a look. And again, I've lost my place. Very annoying. Burns Konchenko 1.72 to go the distance. These odds are much more what I like to see. Hang on a minute. What's going on here? Fight goes the distance 1.72. Let's have a look at the implied probability on that. That's not a bad one. Burns Konchenko to go the distance isn't a bad one, actually. I do feel it's a lot more likely this one goes the distance than we get a finish, because Konchenko kind of controls the pace because he's good enough to control where the fight takes place. He's very difficult to take down, very good striking defense, but he's not that aggressive either. Never really goes after a finish, and Gilbert Burns is really tough. So yeah, I do think that's not bad. Not loads of value there, but it's not. It's one of the better over bets I've seen, or one of the better bets on fights to go the distance for sure. Not sure what prop I took in that fight. Yeah, I took Gilbert Burns to win by decision at 4.10. So yeah, I do think it's more likely it goes the distance. It's not a bad one. Patrick G, do you like Luque by decision? What have I gone for? What are the odds on Luque by decision? Sorry guys, this computer is not built for live streams. It is lagging bad. I will just lag my browser out pretty bad here. We'll let it catch up. Oh, there we go. I will be getting a new PC soon, boys, don't worry. And then we'll be live streaming every fucking day. Live streams every day once I get a new computer sorted. Laggy. Right, Luque by decision. 3.50. It's okay. Thing is, right, I could see Luque winning the fight by decision, but it's tough because I could also see Perry knocking him out. I could also see Luque knocking Perry out, and I could also see Luque winning by decision. Sorry, not decision, submission. So I can see Luque winning by decision, but I don't think it's a particularly strong position to put your money in because there's like 4 possible outcomes, which I think are probably equally likely. And if you think about it, if you assigned equal probabilities to all of them, I do think it's unlikely Perry wins by decision because I feel Luque will outwork him over the course of 3 rounds. But, Perry knockout, Luque submission, Luque decision. If you divide 100% by 4, that gives a 25% probability to each outcome. And the implied probability on this is 29%. So I don't think you're getting a great deal there, man. I'm struggling to assign a probability to that because I do see the fight being chaos. And I could definitely see a finish. Especially because of how bad Perry is on the ground. If Luque just comes out, fights smart, takes him down, hunts for a submission, you could definitely get a finish. WrestleMan UK has asked, hello mate, do you like a bet on Corey Anderson? Let's take a look, man. Let's have a look at the odds. He's fighting Johnny Walker, isn't he? Now, I haven't seen the odds. I don't know what they are. Again, we got lag. I would bet... Oh, no, right, that's wrong. That's the wrong thing to say. If I was capping this fight, both guys have to be even money. They both have to be around 1.87 each. Anything other than 1.87 each is bad handicapping because Corey Anderson has no chin and Johnny Walker is devastating knockout power in every strike. But Johnny Walker has no takedown defense, a low-level ground game, and poor cardio. And we know Corey Anderson's a machine. So Corey Anderson versus Johnny Walker is the definition of a 50-50 fight. So the odds should be minus 110 each, around 1.90 each. Anything else is crazy. And if either guy's an underdog, it doesn't matter who you think will win. Doesn't matter if you think Anderson win. It doesn't matter if you think Walker will win. Whoever's the underdog is the fighter to bet in this fight. That's where the value is mathematically. So let's look at what the odds are. Have the bookies got it right? Oh, I can't find the odds, man. They're not on here. And if I bring a betting site up, it will definitely lag the stream out. So sorry, man, I can't check it. But yeah, both guys should be dead even. Anything else is mental. Born a Bear said, hope you didn't jump on Everton in play. I didn't, mate. Do you know what, though? I was watching the Cardiff game, which is why I didn't jump in on it. But the reason why it's a good thing I didn't watch the Everton game is I don't know if you guys... This might lag the stream out, but usually this site's quite lightweight. If you look at the stats in the Crystal Palace Everton game, of course I said in the video that Everton would be a potentially good live bet. Man, I need a new computer so fucking bad. This is laggy as hell. It is so intense on a computer to live stream. It is unbelievable. You're probably seeing crazy lag right now. See if we can bring this up. If you look at the stats. Laggy. The stats look like Everton... Okay, actually I checked the stats mid-game and they were a lot worse than this. But I'm guessing after Everton had a player sent off, Palace came back into the game a little bit. But as you can see, Everton definitely had the best of it. And when I checked the stats at half-time, Everton were dominating. So that probably would have been a bet a game I would have lost money on because it looks like Everton controlled the game. And if they were doing well, I probably would have live bet them. So dodged a bullet there. Lidosis has asked, how aggressive should we go on the football bets? It's hard to feel super confident on football because it tends to be chaos compared to MMA. Yeah, so I can't really talk too confidently about football at the moment. Let's get these props back up. Can't really talk too confidently about football at the moment because I'm still a rookie, still a Padawan. I'm still learning. I'm still learning, and I am. Actually, I am betting just as much on football as I would on MMA, but there's a reason for that I won't go into. But if you know about some of the ways to keep betting accounts open longer, you could probably guess why I'm doing that. But I'm still learning, man, and I would say don't trust anything I tell you about football because I'm still learning. Like, I'm still a rookie. Like, just don't listen to me. So, yeah, if you are going to listen to me, definitely go small because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm still learning. I'm trying to crack football betting because I'm sick of getting shut down by betting websites. I want to crack a high liquidity sport like football, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I did make a lot of money betting football last year. I did, but it might have been beginner's luck. I don't know. So if you are going to follow the betting on football, probably best to keep it small. And another thing about football, which I did find last season, one of the reasons why I'm hoping I'll do much better this year is because I made loads of mistakes last season betting football and I've learned from them. And one thing that I noticed is that you will go on brutal losing streaks because parking the bus is a highly effective strategy in football. So even if you do make the correct betting decision and you bet on a team that dominates, it's not like MMA where at the end of it there has to be a winner or a loser. If a team can park the bus and hold out for a draw and you've bet on a team to win, well, you lose your money. So football is brutal like that. So yeah, definitely I would probably keep it small because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning myself. Even though I am betting big amounts on football. But there is method to the madness. If I make a loss on football, I know that I make so much money live betting UFC that I'll be able to get it back, no problem. Stephen Hartley said, I was thinking about Stipe at 2.20. Father Time has to catch up with DC eventually. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, mate. I mean, I haven't researched the fight yet, so I can't talk super confident about that fight. But I agree with you that, Father Time has to catch up with DC eventually. He's like 43 years old now. Back injuries are really, really difficult to heal. Yeah, definitely could see some value on Miocic, but I can't be too confident until I research it. So we've got another super chat. So Rona Project, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it, mate. So Rona Project has asked, when odds move like they have with Silva at minus 330, does it make you reconsider how you cap the fight? Appreciate all your insight. Let's have a look at how the odds have moved on Silva. Let's have a look. I didn't think the odds moved that much on Silva. The odds haven't really moved too much, man. The odds have stayed around 1.33 to 1.36 all week. I mean, I guess they were 1.40 last week, but I mean, odds always decline, don't they, as you get closer to the time of the event. Have I got the wrong Silva? Is there another Silva on this card? Guessing you mean Alex De Silva. Yeah, his odds haven't changed too much at all, mate, all week. If you're on about the odds here on 5 dimes, this is a mistake. Those odds are wrong. But what I would say is, if ever there's like big line movement on a fight, and then the odds movement makes me tempted to bet on a fighter, I will go back and research that fight a second time just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So yeah, I do that. I do. So, but thanks for your super chat anyway, man. I really appreciate it. And if it was a different fighter other than Silva, let me know, and I will answer your question again, mate. Because I don't think the odds on Silva have moved that much. And yeah, so I just saw some. There we go. There's the props back up. Okay. Trying to find where I am again. Cheeky fuckers, man. I'm telling you, this software, what they basically do is you've got your chat box where I can look at the chat and go through it and answer. And then as soon as a super chat comes through, they prioritize that, and then you click the super chat to answer that. And then once you've dealt with it, it doesn't put you back to where you were on the chat box. It puts you to the most recent messages, which means you have to find where you were. And it's just a nightmare, man. It is an absolute nightmare. Right. Okay. So WrestleMan UK has asked, do you think we could see Edson Barboza underperform and lose his decision to Paul Felder like we've seen to James Vick and Jimmy Rivera after first round knockouts? Yeah, definitely, mate. I don't know what the odds are on, see if we can do a control F here to find it. I don't even know what card Felder's on. It's so laggy. Sorry, guys. I promise you, November, I will be getting a new PC and these live streams will become a lot easier to do. Can't see the odds for Felder Barboza either. Yeah, they're not on best fight odds yet. So, yeah, could definitely see Barboza underperforming though, mate. Yeah, bend over. I think I answered the question on. I think I answered you on Brunson earlier on, mate. Ava Ortega said problem with Carmouche is that she lost to Alexis Davis twice. 100%. I think with Shevchenko, she makes so many bad decisions on the ground that I could see Carmouche taking her back and catching her, but if she doesn't get it done in the first 2 rounds, she's in big trouble. Frederick has asked about the Arsenal match tomorrow. Who have they got? Let's have a look. Oh, this is going to lag my computer out again, innit? What a fool. What a fool. I can't wait to get a new computer so these live streams can be a lot better than they are now. It doesn't help. The weather cooled off a bit in the UK. It's absolutely boiling today. Really, really hot, which is causing... I can hear my computer crying underneath my desk. It is struggling bad with the heat. Let's have a look. Oh, Arsenal are away to Newcastle, aren't they? Away to Newcastle. You know what, man? I do actually like Newcastle to cause them some problems tomorrow. I can't bring the odds up, but what are the odds on the double chance double chance Newcastle to win or draw? Because Newcastle's home form. Newcastle tend to be quite difficult to beat at home. The crowd will be behind them. Big atmosphere, first home game of the season. Newcastle are, reasonably strong all over the pitch. Arsenal's away form isn't good. They're quite inconsistent. That could be a tough game for Arsenal. Could be a good one for live betting though. Ryan Hillman has said Latifi exposes Vulcan tonight. Could be right, mate. Could be right. Eric Raymond has asked, thoughts on the movie First Blood? I haven't seen it, man. Haven't seen that movie. Boob has asked, why is Vargas the favourite on 5 dimes? It's just a mistake. It's just an error. Patrick Carey has asked, what do you think about the Ruiz versus Joshua fight? The line's plus 250 on Andy, which I think is a bit crazy considering he outboxed AJ. Yeah, that does seem a bit crazy. That does seem crazy because to me that wasn't a competitive fight. Ruiz just boxed him apart. Nikos Rudzunis has asked, Brunson is really bad, bro, man. I mean, every fighter's got weaknesses. Brunson's got his own set of weaknesses to deal with, but he is a strong wrestler. He's an NCAA Division III wrestler, and Heinisch has no takedown defense, and he's weak off his back. So yeah, Brunson's got weaknesses, but so's Heinisch, and Brunson's the underdog. So you're looking at risk to reward ratio. The risk to reward ratio is not bad on Brunson. Vladislav Dikazarov, as I hope I pronounced that right, mate. I hope I didn't screw that up. But said, what are your thoughts on Diaz versus Pettis? I got my money on Pettis since Diaz hasn't fought for 4 years, doesn't have the best chin, and isn't the best striker out there. He has an amazing chin, mate. That is the one thing I would disagree with you saying. Diaz has one of the best chins in the history of MMA. I don't know. If I bring it up, it's going to lag, innit? Because Tapology is a laggy site. I don't think Nate Diaz has ever been KO'd. If he has, it's like less than 2 or 3 times in about 40 pro fights. So there's definitely nothing wrong with Nate Diaz's chin. I don't believe from memory he's been KO'd more than 2 or 3 times. So Josh Thompson famously fucking flatlined him. But aside from that, yeah, nothing. So Nate Diaz has only been KO'd 1 time in 30 pro fights. So there's definitely not anything wrong with Diaz's chin. But I do agree with you. I do like Pettis in this fight. I haven't researched it yet, so that might completely change after I do research. But I do agree with you that there could be Pettis could be a decent bet, just because Diaz hasn't fought for so long. You got to question his motivation. And also, I remember around about this time between 2013 and 2014, they were all the same kind of rumours about Diaz, where was he going to retire, was he ever going to fight again. He was having problems with the UFC, wasn't happy with how they were paying him. And eventually the UFC smoked him out of his hole, and he came back and fought Rafael dos Anjos and looked like total shit. Now, I know back then, pre-USADA, Rafael dos Anjos was pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. He was incredible back in 2014 before USADA came in. But Diaz showed up looking out of shape, like a total bum, and Dos Anjos just murdered him, humiliated him. It was a humiliating beatdown for Diaz, and he just looked totally disinterested. So I think we could see the same thing happen again on Saturday night. What's Diaz's motivation? Is he just turning up for a paycheck? Is he just turning up, to run down the fights on his contract so that he can maybe go and get a big deal with somewhere like Bellator or Rising? You don't know with a guy like Diaz, so yeah, he's tough to trust this weekend for sure. I'm not sure if I will be betting on Diaz or Pettis or not. I know for a fact I won't be betting on Diaz, just because the memory of how bad he looked when he came back after all that drama in 2013 still sticks in the back of my head. So Mert Neyer has said, is it possible to get a quick breakdown of Ozdemir versus Latifi fight? What I would say, mate, right? Because if I do that, it's going to take up quite a lot of time on the stream. If you go to my channel, because obviously you can do this, you can watch the end of the stream and then you can do this while the fights are taking place, because the Ozdemir and Latifi fight is not until really deep in the card. If you go, this is probably lagging the stream out like crazy. If you go to my channel, God, I need a new computer so fucking bad. If you go to videos, and then if you look for, where is it? This video here, this UFC Stockholm one here. I talk a lot about the Latifi and Ozdemir fight in that, so check that out, man. And I would probably do a much better job of explaining it in that video than I could on this stream where I'd be rushing it. The only thing that's changed is that Latifi's had a back injury, and obviously back injuries aren't easy to bounce back from, so that could affect his performance tonight. And YouTube's lost my place again. WrestleMan UK has asked, "Are you betting on Andrade?" That's one fighter I'm definitely thinking of betting. I'm actually probably going to research that fight tomorrow. So I'm going to Bali in Singapore. Not this time next week, but next Sunday morning I'm flying out to Singapore. So I've got to fucking somehow research the Chinese card with Andrade and Zhang on the main event and UFC 241. I got to do them both next week. And I'm probably going to research that Andrade fight tomorrow. Because I do think Andrade at these odds could be a great bet, man. I just need to brush up a little bit on Weili Zhang. And yeah, I'm definitely thinking about betting on Andrade. Jake Sidoli has asked, how do you get past the bookies restricting your accounts? Do you just make new ones? So there's no way to get around bookies restricting your accounts. They will always shut you down. There's nothing you can do about it. Anyone that tells you they've got some trick or some secret way of avoiding being limited is total rubbish. There's nothing you can do to avoid being restricted by betting sites. Once you are restricted, there's things you can do to keep making money. I can't really talk about that publicly because it could get me into trouble. But if you do just like Google searches, you can figure out for yourself how to continue making money once you've been restricted. Sorry guys, the Shih Tzu has just entered the room and decided to start chasing one of his toys around. Sorry guys, if you hear any crazy sound in the background. Just going to try and skim through the chat now, guys. Get through as many questions as I can. Jack Thompson said, "Oh, thanks a lot, Jack. I really appreciate that, mate. Kind words. Thanks, mate. I really appreciate it." Quincy Pignola's asked, "Do you like Luque inside the distance at plus 100? I don't, man. Just because that would carry an implied probability of 50%. And I think that there's equal chance of him finishing inside the distance or winning by decision. And then there's also a chance that Luque could flash KO him because of how reckless Luque is. So I don't think at an implied probability of 50%, that's a good deal." Direction Warriors asked, "Hey Drex, how you doing, man? How do you feel about a straight bet on Burns? You seem to think that he is better everywhere." I do think Burns is better everywhere. I do. I really do. Burns is one of these guys that he's made massive improvements over the last 18 months. You know, his cardio really used to let him down. He's got so much better. And that's my problem with him in this fight. We know that really, from a technical point of view, now that his striking's excellent, the only thing that's really ever let him down has been his cardio. And what concerns me here is because he's taking the fight on just 2 weeks' notice, his cardio could cost him again tonight. Now, it might not be an issue because Konchenko's output is so low, so it's not like he's going to be forcing Gilbert Burns to work very hard. But I just worry. I just can't bet on Burns when he's taking the fight on 2 weeks' notice. I just don't think it's smart. So if you look at Burns, he's only a slight underdog when the computer eventually brings the odds back up. God, I need a new computer. There we go, finally. So Burns is only a slight underdog, so I don't think there's a lot of value there at all. Bendover has said, "I'm so excited for UFC 241 videos coming up. Some juicy value right now if everything stays the same numbers wise." Yeah, I agree, man. Like I say, one of the reasons why I kept it tight on this card is because I see so many good potential bets next weekend. and I'm probably going to be able to get videos out super early next week, because like I say, I'm going to Singapore next Sunday, so I've got to do 2 UFC events next week, because I've heard that the internet in Bali is total shit, and I've been on holiday, like I've been on vacation before where the internet connection's been dodgy, and it's been really hard to research fights over there because you can't actually like stream videos with loads of buffering. So I've got to get those 2 events done before I go, because I literally come back the day before this UFC plus on ESPN plus 15 event, so I got to do all my research. So I should have UFC 241 done by like midday Wednesday. So hopefully all the videos will be out pretty quickly this week. Mert Naya has asked, I'm planning to bet on Rogerio Bontorin to win. I think that's a close fight, man. I couldn't call that fight. That's a close fight. I think the odds are pretty accurate. Both guys roughly dead even. And Cyril Gane's fight to end less than 1.5 rounds. Let's have a look what the odds are. 1.50. You know what, man? Like I said in the breakdown video for that fight, I mean, any bet on this fight is just a total gamble, because there's barely any footage available on Rafael Pessoa. You just don't know what you're getting from him. Yes, Gane looks really good, but you're taking a big gamble if you're betting on the under in that fight, just because Pessoa, we don't know anything about him. For all we know, Pessoa might have like a Roy Nelson type chin, and this might go the distance. You know, he's 9-0. He looks bad, but we don't know anything about him really. There's only a couple of minutes of footage available of him online, so I think it's a big gamble to bet on something with odds as steep as that. E. Gonzalez has asked, what do you think about $100 on Veronica Macedo at plus 170 odds? I think that's a fucking great bet, mate. If you've got Macedo at plus 170, that is, win or lose, mate, that is a fucking good bet, mate. Hopefully she comes through for you, man. That is a great bet at those odds, dude. Really, really good bet. Trey Franklin said, you think Burns will be in shape since he's been training with his little bro, getting him ready for the Contender Series fight? Yeah, it could be. Could be, man. I mean, look, if Burns shows up in shape, you know, if he's been in camp, then I really think he'll beat Kunchenko. It's just he is taking the fight on like 2 weeks' notice, and we don't know what condition he's coming in on, you know. So it's a tough one. You know what they say in lock, stock, or was it snatch? I think it was lock, stock. Pretty sure it was lock, stock, where they say assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. Can't assume Burns will be in good shape or not. Best to just pass and not try and guess either way. Ava Ortega said Johnny Walker is overrated. I do agree with you, Ava. I think Walker is very, very overrated. Walker reminds me of Ozdemir in a way. Like, everyone thought Ozdemir was going to be the new champion, the next big thing at light heavyweight. But if you went back and watched Ozdemir's fights before he came to the UFC, you'd see that he was very, very average. And I think the same thing is going to happen to Johnny Walker, you know. He's got a few big flash KO wins, might continue to get a few more flash KO wins. You know, he might flash KO Corey Anderson. Doesn't really tell us a lot, though, because as soon as he faces a guy, you know, with decent striking defense, who can tie him up, drive him into the cage, make him work for takedowns, tire him out, I think he's really going to struggle. Corey Anderson might be that guy, but there's a lot more risk there, because obviously we know Corey Anderson's chinny as hell. Albin Hellquist has asked Jack Hermanson's next fight, what do you think? See who he's fighting, man. Let's see who he is fighting. Don't know who he's fighting, man. Let me know who he's fighting. Not too sure who Hermanson's got next. Oh, wow. So Lee Dosis has just said that Walker is a 1.66 favourite over Anderson. Anderson's 2.20 underdog. That's interesting, because I do believe this is the definition of a 50-50 fight. and that would give Anderson an implied probability of 45%. The odds aren't great, actually. I would like a bit more than that. If I could get 2.30 or 2.40 on Anderson. At 2.20, I'd probably pass on Corey Anderson. But if I could get 2.35, that would be very nice. That would be a 7% margin over where I cap it. And we probably, I mean, there's a good chance we'll get those odds as well, because Walker is super hyped. Everyone thinks that he's the, you know, the next big thing. Fried Donkey, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it, mate. Gotti has asked, are you going to live stream through the fights? I'm not, man. I do live commentary through Discord during the fights, so I'm going to have to jump off in a minute and get set up for that. I got a few minutes left, boys, so I'm going to try and skim through as many as I can now. I'm going to have to jump off in about 5 minutes to get set up for live betting, alright, boys? And then I probably won't be able to... No, I've just got to say, I won't be able... I've got to be realistic. I won't be able to do a live stream next week because I'm flying to Singapore like 8 a.m. next Sunday morning. So I'm just going to not do a live stream next Saturday because I'm a man. You know what we're like, boys. We leave everything to the last minute, and I know I'm probably going to be doing loads of last minute packing and shit next Saturday. So I'll probably give that a miss. But I might do a live stream while I'm away. We'll see what the internet's like, man. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a China like, because I probably won't be able to put breakdown videos out for the Chinese card because I'll be in Bali and Singapore. But I might just do a live stream about it, just like this, just talking about the fights. Could do like a long one or something. Wouldn't it be fucking great, actually? I tell you what, it's like a 17-hour flight. So if the plane's got a good internet connection, that would be a good way to kill some time. Do a live stream from the plane. Usually the Wi-Fi on planes is shit though, so I won't hold out too much hope. Navid has said Corey Sandhagen is one of my favourite picks for next card. I agree, mate. Corey is definitely someone I got my eyes on next week. 100%. 100%. Agree with you, mate. He'll be one of the first guys I research tomorrow. Right, boys. Let's end it there. I'm going to go set up. I'm going to go and set up for the live betting. My fucking 10 laptops because the bookies are pricks. But thanks everyone for watching the live stream. Sorry it couldn't be longer. It's been a mental day for me. But I should get I won't be able to do a live stream next week, but I should be able to get the 241 videos out earlier than usual. And we'll probably do a live stream for the China card. So nice one, everybody. Thank you for watching. Take care. Love you guys. I hope you crush it tonight. Smack the bookies in the dick. I hope you have a big win. So take care, everybody. Love you guys, and I will speak to you soon.